Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be sharing a 12 by 12 layout with you guys, and this is for a team challenge over at the Secret Not Secret Kit Club, which I'll tell you more about in just a few moments. I will also be doing a sketch challenge from Redefined Creative as well, and this would be the sketch that I'm using today. So for the challenge, each team member challenged me to use something on my layout, and first up, Desiree challenged me to use pattern paper as my background, so I'm going to be using that black and white pattern paper there. And I'm going to just trim down the photo that I'm using today, which is of my grandson, and he was just a few months old in this photo. And I'm just going to leave a very thin white border around it. Next up, Naomi challenged me to use branding strips, and here I'm going to cut off branding strips off of a few of the pattern papers from this paper pad. You can see in the center there's this little circle, the cutout, and that will be covered up by my photo. Now, the items I used today is from the Vicki Boutin collection Field Notes, I believe, and there was another one as well, but I cannot remember at the moment. But I will go ahead and list all of the items that I used down in my description box. So here I'm going to go ahead and begin by matting my photo. And I matted it on that solid, well, it is a pattern paper, but it's tone on tone blue, so it looks pretty solid to me. And then I wanted to go ahead and mat it also on this watercolor effect pattern paper, which is just the flip side of that tone on tone blue paper. But I knew once I added it to my branding strips, I would definitely want a more solid color behind my photo to make sure it stands out against from the branding strips. So I added a bit of that solid blue again behind the photo. So here I'm just gonna go ahead and line up my strips in the order that I wanted, and just making sure that none of the same colors are next to each other, and keeping that little cutout in the center as much as possible so that my photo can cover it up. Now, once I got to this point, I realized I wanted to stagger my strips. So here I'm just cutting off little bits, different lengths from each of the strips, and I went ahead and adhered it to my background. Right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and adhere my photo, and I did mount it on some foam tapes just to add a bit of dimension. And here I'm gonna add my title, which says Say Cheese. And you can see once I added this, it pretty much got lost on that really busy script pattern paper. And I left it for a little bit, but I really was not liking it. And here I'm just going through some die cuts to find some elements to add to the background. Now, on the sketch that I'm using, there's a little punch scalloped edge to the top right, and you can see I added one of those cardstock stickers from the sticker sheet to the right on the top of all my strips, and that would be that element there. And right now I'm just adding a starburst die cut, and I cut it in half because whatever I add to the top, I wanted to add to the bottom as well, just to balance it out a bit. And that will serve as that circular element towards the top left and bottom right of the sketch as well. And here I grabbed that die cut, that hard die cut, and I added it to the edge on the top left, added the part that I cut off to the bottom right, and you will see I will go ahead and change that later on as well. It just stood out a little bit too much on this layout, and I needed it to be toned down just a bit. So right now I'm just gonna go ahead and continue adding these strips back onto my layout. I figured why not add them on the strips I already have there, just to add a bit of interest to the background. So here you can see I changed my title to say Heart This Photo, which I read as Love This Photo. And I am just adding in some stickers, some heart puffy stickers from that sticker sheet with all the black stickers on there, and also from the one with the colorful stickers. And here I went ahead and removed the heart. I cut it just a tiny bit, and I'm just gonna stick it in behind that starburst die cut on the top. So here I'm gonna add in 2 banners, and like I mentioned before, whatever I add to the bottom right, I wanted to add it to the top left as well, just to balance things off. So I have just one of these banners, so I'm gonna just add it to my page and figure out a way where I can place it so I have some excess hanging off. That way I can use the excess to add to the top left, and that's what you're gonna see me do right now. And then I'll add another yellow banner and do the same with that as well. So for my next challenge, Amy asked me to use a punch on my layout, and you'll see I'll grab a flower punch and punch out a few yellow flowers and tuck those into the clusters that I've already added. And lastly, Miranda challenged me not to use any mixed media on this layout, which was probably the most challenging of them all, because if you are familiar with my layouts, you know I love adding mixed media to my spreads, and you know, even if it's just splatters at the end, I just put a little mixed media in there. But I truly love how this turned out even without the mixed media. So I'm really happy with this layout, and let me know what you think about it down below. And if I was to add any splatters, it would be silver acrylic ink or white ink as well. Those would be my 2 choices if I was to add any splatters here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this process. If you did, be sure to give me a thumbs up before you leave. And if you are new to my channel, I do hope you take a look around and consider subscribing today. Don't forget, I'll have the items that I used today listed in my description box. And I want to thank you all for watching today. Until my next video, bye.